We're here with Dave Roberts from Ohlm. Uh, Dave, thank you. I appreciate you taking time out of your night to come fucking hang out.
Oh, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate you doing what you do
Right on.
and telling people about our music and everybody's music, because this
Yeah,
Louisville is a great place for music.
dude, it's like really it right now I feel like we have the strongest community of like bands that we've had. And I mean, I've been here off and on for 20, 24, 25 years. And in that time, I feel like the bands now are fucking solid.
They are, man. Like there are so many good bands, and they're doing the thing. Like they're going out, they're playing shows, they're getting out of town, they're recording, they're they're doing everything that they need to do to get their name out there, and they're actually doing the thing. Like I said, hold on, I've got another pop up here. All right, it's gone. Um, but there are so many good bands around here, and they're younger kids, and yeah, it's great. It's great to see. And you go to these shows. There's lots of new faces. It's not just the old fucks in the
Right.
back anymore. You got young kids. You got a lot of all ages shows. They're doing all ages shows at Magbar, which is
Which
weird.
is and fantastic.
Oh, it is, but it's weird when you see like an under 18 person standing there right next to somebody that's more than likely going to go do coke in the bathroom. It's
Yeah,
just like, hey, there are kids here. Go be a degenerate outside. Come on.
right. Yeah, they're gonna do coke in the bathroom or they're gonna black out in like an hour.
Hmm.
Like
Or both, or both.
or both. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm so excited about like all the bands that are coming out of this city right now. You got like Belushi Speedball. They're fucking excellent, man. Those
Yeah.
guys are taking it to another level with their live show. I'm a huge fan of Guar, so when I see them doing their thing, it reminds me of that. You got like bands like Volcandra that just released an album. You got
Which is
Redivider,
dude, that album is fucking
She, Lions
yeah.
Cry. Yeah, I can go on and on and on, but we don't have to talk about all of them. But
Yeah.
they're awesome. All those bands are awesome.
No, that like that's good though, right? Cause you're right. All those bands are awesome. And your band is fucking awesome.
Well,
Um
thank you.
I you know the so I saw you guys one time. I gotta think. Maybe 2016 when you played with the Atlas Moth and the Ocean Collective,
Okay.
somewhere around there. So I'm standing there watching you guys, and a couple of guys from the Ocean come out and stand right next to me, and we're both just fucking jamming out watching you guys play. And I turned to look, and the dude goes, "Wow, they're fucking good." I was like, "Yeah, they're fucking good, dude."
I love to hear shit like that, man. Like it's always nice to get praise from your peers. Much less fans or peers or anything. I love it when people like I can always tell when I did a good job because nobody talks to the bass player, right? So when somebody comes up to me and they go out of their way to be like, "That was pretty good," I could be like, "It must have been good, right?" Because nobody wants to talk to the bass player ever.
Yeah. Ah, I think a lot of bass players feel like that.
We
Probably
all
for good reason, because I'm not a bass player. I don't know.
well, but yeah, it's exciting. I like being in this band. Ohm, by the way, if you don't know, I don't know if we already said it. The computer's kind of, but it's something different for me. I grew up listening to like gangster rap and death metal. Like that was those were the two, and I'd listen to anything in between. But for years, I played death metal. I've been in several different bands. Started out with punk rock, like most people do, and I just drew the shortest straw. That's why I played bass. We were when none of us had instruments. We were like, well, what are we gonna play? It was like, well, I want to play guitar, and people started calling shit, and I was like, I want to be a drummer, and we just flipped a coin, and I lost, and here I am, all those years later.
But now you could be a drummer and be in like 27 bands.
Yes, yes, you could. I feel like you could do that with being a bass player too, because everybody needs a bass player these days.
That's
I
fair.
mean, and you have guitar players that are like, "Oh, I play bass." It's like, well, you do, but it's
Yeah.
not the same. I don't think it's the same. I don't think it's the same at all. But yeah, man, like I've been doing this for a long time. Let me see. I started playing when I was 15. I'm 43 now, so I'm you can do the math. It's a long fucking time. Like I said, started in punk rock, um, and I played, in a death metal band called Sowing Discord. I don't know if you've ever heard them. It was one of those things where we got together, we wrote about, you know, 14, 15 songs, played a bunch of shows, and just nothing happened. It's one of those bands. I mean, everybody's been in a band like that where you put a lot of effort in and it's just like, nothing happened. But
Yep.
I was still really proud of it. We recorded some stuff. Chris Leffler from Stonecutters was the guitar player for the last little bit of we did. I mean, we got to play some good shows. Got to open for Carcass when they came back. That was an amazing show, and it's just stuff like things like that. And then I also did a doom band called Seder. Uh, it was me, Adam from Hawkbill. Let me see, Austin Lunn from Panopticon, and Crow from Wheels Within Wheels. And it was just like a really heavy, sludgy doom band, and that was important to me developing as a player because I went from death metal to that. So like 220 beats per minute to 60, you
Yeah.
know, learning how to slow down. But in that band, I did bass for a while, and then like I sort of dropped out because I had personal things going on, and then I got back into it, and they were like, "Well, we don't need a bass player now," so I did vocals for a while, and then I played drums in the band, and then it was just something fun for us to do. But I mean, and then eventually we get to Ohlm, and the reason why Ohlm started, I think Nate talked about it last time. We were doing a run of shows. It was my band Sowing Discord and his band Antikythera, him and Josh, and it just made sense at the time because I was absolutely done with that other band.
Yeah. Well, it's funny how that works, right? Like I think there's a lot of bands, especially in our younger years, like they serve a purpose and they run their course, and you're like, okay, time to move on to something else, whatever it is, right? Good, bad, and
Right.
indifferent. It's okay, time to move on to something else. And musicians, like-minded musicians tend to come together a lot and create something, something completely different from what they were doing before.
Yeah, and I think that sort of shows from what we do now versus what we did when we started. It was very because like the first show I played with them because they'd been doing something together for a while, Nate and Josh, and the first show that I had played with them, Josh wasn't even there. It was like Thanksgiving week in like 2009 or something. I don't even remember. It was a long time ago, and we went out to London, Kentucky, and played this bar, and it was just a two piece. And I didn't even really know the songs at the time. He's just like, let's just wing it and see what happens. But Josh couldn't make it, so it's just me and Nate. And from there it just took off. I mean, it you know it, and I think it the music that we write together now versus the first album where Nate was like, I have all these songs, and Josh had all these songs, where I had some input but not a lot. If you go through the discography, like you could see it progress over time to where, I mean, honestly believe like we could just show up and just play. We don't even have to have a
A,
song.
a song. Yeah.
We could just play, and we know each other so well that we could figure it out. And that's what I really like about playing with these guys. It's been, you know, over the years, and I've always said that like being in a band is like being in a relationship with several people. You know, you're either gonna break up quick or you're just gonna stick it out for the long haul. And we're just sticking it out right now. So, and it's paid off. We play some good shows. Like I said, our visuals have really kicked it up a notch. And I know Nate mentioned them last time, but I gotta mention them again. Dennis Stein, the guy that does our visuals. I mean, he's just so creative and with what he does and like all this weird random gear. And he does a band called Introvert, which is like glitch mod music. I don't know how to explain it. It's weird, but that dude's a genius. Like he can tell me, he can be like, "You should do this," and I'm like, "Okay, we should do this."
So how did he come to be, right, for you guys?
I in my early 20s, I was trying to do a black metal band. And it was me and Roger. I don't remember, the band, The Revenants. They'd been around for years. Their keyboard player Roger was like, I really want to play guitar in a band. So we got together. He met Dennis, and he brought him around. And we had another guy, and we had a drummer, Brian Snook, who I played in the band, that Sewing Discord band with. And we just got together, and we just all sort of clicked. It's one of those bands that never really did anything, but you know, I made a friend out of Dennis out of over the years. He's I've just known him for years. He's been a good friend of mine. We just hung out, go to shows. He likes weird shit. He introduced me to Buckethead. Like he's like, hey man, I got this VHS tape. Let's watch this. You know, so yeah, I've just known that dude for years, and he's very creative. He does live visuals for other people, which Nate sometimes is like, well, I don't want it'll ruin it if he does it for everybody. It's like whatever. This dude's out doing his thing. He knows everything you can know about sound, and he's got a million and one pedals. Every so often he just gives me one, like, try this one. He's a good dude.
Yeah. Well, and I think the good thing about like audio visual people, right? Like the sound is gonna each band's sound is gonna sway them to do something particular for your band, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right. And we can give him some direction, but I mean, if you've ever seen us at headliners in the last
Mhm.
couple of years, he's just taking it. We give him minimal direction. We're like, hey, we want this and this. What else can you do? And he just does it. So it always works out. I can't watch what's behind me, but everybody says it's good, so I just have to assume that it
Just go with it. Yeah.
is. Just go with it.
Yeah, and I know from that show with the Ocean and Atlas Moth to that last headliner show with I don't remember those other three bands,
Oh
honestly.
God, you put me on the spot. Stoneholler.
Yeah, oh
Uh,
yeah.
oh God, I can't remember the other bands. I'm sorry, I'm an asshole.
No, no, it's fine. St so I feel like, the visuals between that show and this show have really progressed. They went in a different direction than I would have anticipated. Uh,
Right.
I enjoyed it. My wife and kids enjoyed it, so it was like, all right, we're having a good time.
Yeah, well, I like those shows though, where it's different types of bands, right? I mean, if you play with like metal band, metal band, metal band, metal band, by the time you get to the third or fourth metal band, sometimes people are burned out. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes that's what they want to hear. But it creates an opportunity for other people that may not have seen you to see you.
Yeah.
And that's important because you want to sell merch, you want to sell, hot sauce or, uh hemp seeds that we sell, things like that.
You
Uh,
they're come on, we know the real do we know the reality. They're not,
all right,
you know.
their own branded marijuana
Yeah.
seeds. We do have them at our shows, and they're perfectly legal. I checked.
Yes. Because they're not flour.
That's correct.
Um, yeah, that's cool. Like you guys and Crop also do that. And I'm sure there's probably a couple other bands that are doing the seeds too. And that's one thing I can say about like Belushi is their like merchandising is,
That's insane.
dude, out of this world.
They first it was like, well, we're gonna put it on a Game Boy game, and then a Nintendo and the Super Nintendo. Now we've got it on pizza.
Yeah.
It's just like fucking hey, man, who thinks of this stuff?
I know if Vinny was like, he posted something about a fucking palm tree, and I was like, is the next single going to be on a palm tree? Because that's going to be kind of hard to sell, dude.
One of one. One of
Yeah.
one. If any band could do it, it would be Belushi. They could do it. One of one. Palm Tree. Vinny, I hope you're watching. Do it.
Oh, it'd be funny is we released a single on a palm tree, but it's planted in like Tampa, Florida, next to the beach, and you got to go find it.
That's even better.
Oh shit. Good stuff. So, Reagan Daly has been doing a lot with Third House. You guys are working on something to put out with Third House, correct?
Yes. We're working on an EP right now. It's recorded. We've got to go in and get the mixing and mastering done. Um, it's three new songs, and then one of our older songs we recorded, the song Centralia. that was off our second album. We just thought that we really wanted to re-record it because we weren't happy with that recording. It wasn't bad, but we felt it could have been better. So we went into an actual studio this time. It's not just going to a friend's house and recording. It was an actual studio, so we could do it. And it's the same. It's Deadbird Studio, the same place we recorded our last album on. So we've drug our feet on it a little bit. We've been trying to focus. We played a bunch of shows in March, which when I say a bunch, I mean 3. Uh, uh, but that's a lot for us because we don't like to play a lot. And it's not like a selfish thing. It's just, if you play every weekend, I feel it just sort of wears out the welcome. But if you play, every 3 months, you can make it a big event every time. That means more than just playing every weekend, right?
Yeah.
It makes people want to come out and makes people want to see you. So we've got that in the works. It's all recorded. We've just got to get in the studio and get the mixing and mastering done. And then hopefully by the end of the year, it'll be out. We really want it to be out before the end of the year. But, that all depends on a lot of factors that are sort of out of our hands at this point.
Yeah.
If we press vinyl, like, how long does that take? We get pushed back to the back of the line because Taylor Swift's going to drop another fucking album? Probably.
No, no, not at all. Because like I feel like at this point, Taylor Swift's got her own like vinyl factory.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
but if it's not her, it's like a fucking Kansas album, like that they're gonna repress for the 40th time, and then I get pushed to the back again.
nah. So the good
But
thing
don't get
about
me started on Record Store Day. That's why
the
I fucking hate it. It ruins
uh,
it for small artists.
I I love Record Store Day just because there's always something where I'm like, man, I got to go get that. And then like this last Saturday, I slept right through it. Like,
I wanted to go for the Spawn soundtrack. It sounds ridiculous, but they put it
nope.
out on vinyl. And then the one before, I got the Macho Man Randy Savage Be a Man rap album. If you've never heard it, I highly recommend it.
I've got a Ron Jeremy 7-inch over there, like record,
Okay, thanks.
just
Thanks
to
for
clarify.
just to clarify.
Oh shit. Like, and I just happened upon that. I was like, fuck, Ron Jeremy's got something. I guess I got to buy that damn thing.
Yeah, it's always the weirdest shit when it comes to Record Store Day. They're just like, well, we found this random thing, and sometimes it's cool. I'll give it that. Like, I got the Enslaved live at Roadburn years ago. Awesome record. You can find some cool stuff. Some of the live albums that they put out in the last couple of years, like the Dio album, the Motorhead album, like those are really
Yeah.
cool. But it's one of those things. There, how many of those do you really need? The answer is a lot, depending on who you talk to.
Do we really need any of them? Yeah, we probably need all of them.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
I'm a collector. I love collecting records. It bums me out because I love CDs too, and I hate tapes. I'm one of those people. I just hate tapes, and everybody got back into it, and they're like, "We're gonna make tapes." And Nate has forever asked about making Ohlm tapes, and I'm like, "No, I don't want to do it. It just doesn't
Mm-mm.
sound great." I'm sure we could sell them because that dude he comes up with these crazy ideas for merch sometimes, and I'm like, "That's just weird. Why would anybody do that?" Like 4 years ago, he's like, I made tie-dye shirts, and I'm like, we're never gonna sell these
And
ever.
they sold out.
We played one show and they were gone. And it
Yep.
was just like, well, shit.
Dude, like,
And he got koozies and like he got a bunch of pink koozies. I'm like, nobody's gonna buy a pink koozie here. First one's off the table that sold.
but that's the thing, right? Is because it's something different. Because every other heavier band, what do they have? They have black koozies with white logos.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I've probably got 40 of them upstairs. Like,
Right. Or camo. Camo's the new thing.
oh yeah, yeah, lots of fucking camo.
Get your new obituary merch.
Yeah.
But more power to them. I mean, they're doing it. They're getting it sold.
Yeah. I mean that, but I think for a band, that's the important thing is the merchandising part. Because if you're not trying to branch out and do something a little different, then it's e- everyone's got t-shirts, everyone's got koozies, but they don't have the one-off t-shirt. Oh man, like only from this
Yeah, I
show.
mean,
Or
there are a lot of the yeah, the
go ahead.
merchandise is a big thing. I mean, you have to, especially if you want to make it as a band, you have to have something to sell. You can't just show up empty-handed, and that's where we've been. I'm thankful that we've been lucky enough to, you know, our band pays for itself, right? I mean, we don't do big extravagant tours or anything, but like, the record, we play shows and we save the money. We buy merch and then we put that money back into the band. So it's not like it comes out of our pockets at that point. And
Right.
that's always a nice feeling at this stage in the game, because I gotta remodel my house or something like that. Put in a new floor. I don't have a ton of money, so
Uh, if Are you guys doing LVP in your house?
LVP. I have
Yeah,
no clue what the fuck that
it's
is.
it's vinyl plank.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's going up. The cat has fucking ruined that part of the house, so it's going upstairs. It's
Kentucky
but
Anna.
you know,
I'm going to tell you a
the
place to go.
like I said, what's
Kentucky
that?
Anna Laminate Warehouse.
All right, I'll keep that in mind. I've got him coming in next week to do it, because I redid the basement floor years ago when it was much more spry, and I'm at the point where I'm like, fuck it, I don't want to do it. I'd
Dude,
rather pay somebody and do it.
I got 1,500 square foot like good quality vinyl plank from uh from that place for $500.
That's a good deal. That's a good
Yeah.
deal. I've already shopped for stuff, so yeah,
Okay.
that's a way better deal than I got. I can tell you
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, well, I'm sure of that. That's why I was telling you. So okay, so you guys, as far as mixing and mastering for the new album, what kind of timeline do you think that is?
It really depends. We're hoping to get in soon to get the mix really started. There's, anytime you record, there's always things where you're like, well, can we, bring this up in the mix or bring this down, or, hey, can we add this effect? Because sometimes it's just easier to add effects than stomping on pedals while you're playing. And somebody's going to yell at me for that, but I don't really care. Um, but, things like that, it shouldn't need too much to fix, but it's just about studio time. When the guy has time, and I think you know I'm hopeful that it'll be done by June. Just depending on the time frame of the studio. But that was sort of our fault, because we drug our feet because we were playing some shows and we're trying to figure out what we're going to do for the rest of the year, because we like to plan it out as far as like this is our 15th year, so we want to do some special things, and we're starting to get those ideas together, and we're going back and learning old songs, because we don't want to just play new stuff. Uh, at our anniversary show, which we will announce sooner rather than later. We're just trying to hammer down the details and everything. I think we're probably going to have one band with us, and then just get up there and play. And we're working on some videos and things like that. We could do it all, and it could be really lame. I don't know, or people might like it. I don't know, but either way it goes, I'm sure we'll have a good time. You
And
know,
that's what matters.
yeah, yeah. You wouldn't do this unless you're having fun, because obviously we don't make money doing it. I mean, it pays for itself, and that's good. But
Yeah.
I remember a time where it didn't pay for itself. It's just like, hey, I gotta, hey, we need $500 for this or $300 for these shirts or something like that, and you just take it out of your pocket and do it. Um, but yeah, hopefully we'll have some details on that soon. Like I said, I'm pretty sure we've got a venue, and we want to make it a special event, and then we want to do a big show for our album release, because our last album we didn't get a good release for, because we got it done in February of 2020. So everything tanked, everything closed. Thankfully, Deadbird Studios and Magbar hosted an online event for us, so we were able to at least play the album, and we did sell digital copies that way too. But that was a rough year, man. That year sucked. Like
for
I think the
everyone.
worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, not it sucked for everyone, but like for me as like a musician, like I like to be in front of people, even if I'm playing for like 10 people. I don't care. I like to go play shows, and not being able to play a show for a couple years, and it sucked. Everything was up in the air. What are we gonna do? And but we still managed to keep it together. So I guess if you don't count that year, because we didn't really do shit, it'd be 14 years. But we still count it because we technically released an album that
It
year.
it was still a year in that time. And it wasn't like you guys took
Yeah,
a
yeah,
year off, like you didn't say, okay, we're not doing shit this year. You
right.
had, so
Yeah, we just said, no, we don't want to do it this year. We're just done. We're taking a hiatus. No. But yeah, yeah. I'm hoping that when we do a release, it's at a big place because, like I said, we had plans for that last album, and it just like I said, everything shut down, so it all fell through. But the release is just as important as the 15th year show. Um, and like I said, we're going to do something special for that, and hopefully we can get all those details hammered out soon, and get a date out there.
yeah, I think once you guys are done mastering and everything gets sent off, you're probably looking at I know the people that I talked to. Reagan's a good buddy of mine, so I talked
Yeah,
to him a lot um about that stuff, but I feel like with the company he's using right now, they're pretty quick on their turn times.
that's good because I tell you what, I priced vinyl before the pandemic and then after the pandemic, and I got drastically different numbers and timeline
Yeah.
because we were going to print a vinyl for the last album, but I mean it just wasn't feasible by the time everything opened up. They're like, well, it's going to be $1,500 more, and we'll get to it. It's just like
Yeah.
cool, wonderful.
Yeah, I was helping some people out last year, just pricing out some vinyl for them, and about everyone that I talked to was like, yeah, we're 12 to 18 months out, and we're not even going to take your order right now because we don't know. It's
Oh,
like,
right. Right.
shit.
And I get it from a business sense, but it just sucks personally.
Yeah.
Don't
Oh,
like
for sure. Well, and now you can always go back and get that on vinyl.
right, right,
So,
right. We thought about it. And that may be something we do in the future. But right now we're focusing on moving forward, trying to get this new EP out. We've been working on songs for a split. We don't know who we're gonna do it with yet. But we're gonna figure that out and try to get a split done too within the next year.
right on.
Um, we're constantly writing. We're constantly, fiddling around with new music. I mean, someone will come in with a riff, and our typical practice is we come in, we know we have to focus on X, Y, and Z. We do that, and it's just like, all right, let's just fuck off and like play some music, and we do. And sometimes, we'll just play and press record and go back and listen to it and be like, oh, that sounded good. That sounded good. Or hey, let's record this. This sounds great. And sometimes it works out. Sometimes let's do it like that was awful,
Yeah.
but or you're playing it and you're playing it like this is somebody else's song. What are you doing?
You're like, why are we
But
playing Smoke on the Water? What the fuck happened here?
now we love to play stuff like we love to play random shit too. Like we'll just play like a Slayer cut song, just half of it, or a Silverchair song, whatever. Who gives a shit? Like whatever is in our minds at the time when somebody starts playing it was like, yeah, let's play that song for a minute. So it's fun. It's like jamming when you were younger.
Yeah. Oh man, those are the days. That's probably why it stays so fun for you guys, right? Just playing a little bit of whatever happens to pop
Oh
up.
yeah, and we it's very funny because like when people come and like watch us when we practice, like we're extremely mean to each other. Like, and some people think we're serious. It's like there's no way this band works if we're not if we're actually this mean to each other. So it's like, hey, could you play that again? Just not as shitty, you know. But it's always in good fun. Everybody can take a joke in the band for the most part, but
It's
I
like
think that
right before you get up on stage. Don't suck. Okay.
Oh, I've said that before. I've said that
Yeah.
before. I'm like, Nate, are you sober? Can you see? Can you see me, sir? Okay. And me and Josh just gave each other the look, be like, it's gonna be one of those nights. We got this. But that's the best part about not having vocals, because if you fuck up, nobody notices.
They're like, oh, they did something new. Yeah. That
Yeah, yeah. If you get three wrong notes, it's not a fuck up. It's jazz. That's the saying, I believe. Three wrong notes. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, what are they? There's no wrong notes in music,
Oh,
right?
it's all about groove, man. It's all about groove.
That's it.
You can play any note you want as long as the groove is there. It doesn't matter.
So, um, the thoughts on the anniversary show, you're saying only one other band. So are you guys thinking your set's going to be like hour and a half, 2 hours ish?
I don't know if we'll go like 2 hours or something like that, but like maybe it'll be more, probably more than an hour. We want to hit, all of our albums, and we'll probably put something on Facebook and ask people like, "Hey, what songs do you want to hear?" And just take a poll. Um, we got to go back and learn some of those songs, which going back to some of those songs is like, I don't remember these songs being that hard. Did we get lazy or do we suck now?
I mean,
So that's fun. Just remembering weird timings and stuff like that, just
yeah.
from songs that you literally haven't played in years. But I'm looking forward to it. We've got a list of ones that we've been working up, and if somebody wants to hear something crazy and random, I guess we'll play something crazy and random. But we always joke about, because we've done some shows where we just do a cover at the end of our set, and that's been fun. We've covered everything from like David Bowie to Neurosis, just random stuff. And we always talk about it, and we always talk about doing another song. But then we were like, God damn it, we got to find a vocalist to do it, and that's where it falls through.
Oh yeah. Or, find another musician who can do the vocals on whatever instrument they play.
Right, right. See, I never thought about that one. But then that would be another amp up on the stage, and Nate would get jealous or something.
Damn it, Nate. Uh that- so in all your years, playing, are there like shows that you've played that really, are like that you look at as, man, that show was really fucking great for whatever reason?
Yeah, and it's on. I got two sides of the spectrum here. We played a house show in Lexington. That was the raddest show I've ever played. We were in this. So there's a hallway that comes down this way, and a hallway that comes down this way, and then a room. And we were just set up in the room, and people were on top of us. They had the windows open, people crawling, like hanging out the windows to listen to us. That was a really fun show. That was a good show. I mean, we've been able to play with like High on Fire. We've, God, so many bands. Yeah, headliner shows are always fun. Honestly, the first show we played after the pandemic with the Stonecutters and Bat Wizard, that was an amazing show. And it was just three local bands, man. Just three local bands, and we packed headliners. It was great.
It was a
But,
fantastic show.
there sometimes it's just about, how I felt afterwards. I mean, there are shows that we've absolutely train wrecked where people didn't know. We knew and we felt bad about it, but nobody knew. And I guess that's the key. As long as you don't admit to it, it's not wrong. Um, but I don't get inebriated before we play anymore, because we played a show also in Lexington, and I was hanging out with Nate too much before we played, and I just forgot what we were playing in the middle of a set. This is early days of the band, but I just stopped playing. So that one's memorable because it was embarrassing as shit.
That is fucking hilarious.
Just like a deer in headlights. But then I remembered we were in the key of D, and I was like, whatever, I can make this work, and I made it work.
I'll figure it out. So,
I'll figure it out.
so you don't drink before you play. Nate, I think
I drink
Nate
a little
said,
bit, a little bit.
okay.
I try to stay sober.
Nate said he doesn't drink anymore. Is that right?
What's that? I'm sorry.
Did Nate say he doesn't drink anymore?
Oh yeah, man, he's on the wagon. He hasn't fallen off yet, so he's California sober.
Whatever.
It's better than anything, and I'm happy for him, man. It's good. It's good. It makes it easier to get him to the stage.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, like that shit, dude. That alcohol really fucks you up a whole lot. Like you drink too much and it really it does something to your fucking brain. You're just like, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you can do it, to each their own, man. Have fun, but I want to be able to. I want to get up and be able to do my thing and play, and then I can have a couple beers or maybe a drink during the set. But I don't want to get trashed while I'm playing. Not anymore.
Right.
This is fun. It's not fun when you're too trashed. Another memorable show is we played that Krampus last year, which I know that was recent, but like I hurt my back really bad right before we left to go to the show. And that was the night I didn't live by the not drinking rule because it hurt so fucking bad. It's just like I could tell I'm getting old because I twisted my back moving my amp. And that was a memorable show because I was just trying to be all smiles and I'm like, I'm in pain. This is great.
This is fucking miserable. I actually threw my back out tying my shoe one time.
Yeah, yeah, getting old sucks, man.
Dude, I'm like, can I go back to my 20s? Hell, I'm even okay going back to my 30s.
Right, right.
You
At
know,
this
like
point, yeah.
yeah, like shit. This ain't good. Um, so do you guys have shows on the books right now or just things you're working on?
I don't think we have anything set in stone right now. We were talking about a date in July, at the end of July. And then we're hoping for, like I said, the 15th anniversary show to be in possibly August or September. It just depends on when we get things together. We're trying to set it, like I said, we're trying to set a date for that so it lights a fire under our ass to get things done.
Yeah.
Um, but I think we need to focus, mostly on one getting the EP done, getting the mixing done, get the mastering done, make sure we're happy with that, and then writing for this the split that we're going to do. And we, like I said, we don't know who we're going to do it with. We've talked to a couple bands. Uh, you know, it's we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know if it'll be somebody local or somebody across the country. It could be anybody, but we just got to find somebody. The only tricky part about doing a split is we have to write shorter songs. So if we
Hmm.
write two shorter songs that basically are one song, then that's fine. We can
Just
get that on the split.
just do one song and split it in half.
Yeah, well, see, we talked about that. Finding another band that uh, wants to do a split and be like, all right, you write the first half of the song, and we're gonna write the last half of it. So it would be like like here's their version and here's our version. But I think we went a different direction. But I still think it's a great idea.
I do too. I think that's a really unique idea because the only other thing like that that I know of is I think there was a series where they would take two bands and the bands would cover each other's songs.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. But we've talked about that. I mean, it had to be like a thrash band or something, or maybe a doom, like one end of the spectrum, like either super fast or super slow, and then we just swap it up, change it around.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Oh, take a fucking Slayer song and turn it into a slow ass Doom song.
Yeah, I was talking to the guys in Stormtoker the other day because they played up here at the tap room Metal Monday, and there was a Cannibal Corpse song on. I was like, "This is you guys, right?" Just fucking with them, and we're talking about it. I was like, "You know what? You should cover a Cannibal Corpse song, but like just play like every eighth note and make it like 15 minutes."
Yeah. So I actually saw Storm Toker for the first time Saturday at Legalized Lex.
Yeah, I heard that was a great show.
It was a great show. I didn't, I didn't hadn't listened to him before, so I didn't know what to expect. I tried to go with as clean a mind as possible, right? Like, because I like all kinds of weird shit.
Right.
And they fucking jammed, dude. I was like, this is a weird like ska doom thing going on. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean they recently got the keyboard player slash sax player,
Yeah.
which is weird. But we've done a bunch of shows with them. We every year we do a little. out of town excursion with them where we play like 3 or 4 shows, like in September or October. This will be the third year, and we're planning it now. So that's always fun. Last year we went, we were just around like like Lexington and Evansville and Cincinnati, and then the year prior we went to Richmond, Virginia, and then Johnson City, Tennessee, and then just getting out there a little bit further because they go out all the time. But we're like, yeah, we're old, we've got jobs.
Yeah,
My dog won't forgive me if I leave him for 4 days.
yeah,
My
no,
wife, she may be, but it depends on the dog.
yeah, the dog probably not. I
No,
my my dogs, if I'm gone overnight, they're like, "You son of a bitch, where were you?"
exactly.
Like, oh, come on. That Legalized Lex show was really good. There were a lot of bands there that I had never seen before, and I'm gonna say, I'll say this here. Howling Giant, I tried to get into them just in their recordings, and I don't I just didn't get it,
Mm-hmm.
right? It wasn't connecting with me. And then I saw them live and I was like, holy shit, I get it now. Like they were so fucking good live.
Yeah, they're a totally different band live. But you had them. Was it Crop played?
Yep.
Yeah, she played that too.
Yeah.
So I mean, you had a lot of good bands, and what better day to get the fuck out of Louisville than Thunder over Louisville Day?
Oh yeah.
But there was also a big show in London, Kentucky, where Panopticon played that same day, but it was an acoustic set. So, but that was several hours away.
Yeah. Someone I know went to that and said they had a good time. And I was like, kick ass. I had a good time too. We were uh so Braun from Crop put Legalized Lex together and did a fantastic job, man. Like one band would go off, the other band would start going because they had a stage outside, stage inside, and it was like all night until I don't know, probably about the time it got dark. Then all the bands moved inside, and it was boom, boom, boom. They fucking jammed. Uh,
That's
so
pretty good for a bunch of stoners.
oh yeah, I was really surprised. I figured someone was going to be way too high and miss their mark, and nope, they nailed it.
They're professionals. They're not
Yeah,
like me. They're professionals.
they're professionals. Yeah, yeah, not like me either. So, you touched on some of your favorite local bands earlier. Um, right now, you want to go over them and kind of explain uh, why you feel
Sure.
these bands are out there.
All right. So we can talk a little bit about Blue Shoes people. I feel like we've talked about them until we're
Yeah,
blue in the face, but they're just doing they're doing whatever they need to do. They're excellent, good guys, good people, and their music impresses, their stage show impresses. The fact that they write, a new stage show every time they go out. It's always different. They can bring 200 kids to a skate park. That's awesome. I think they're playing on the Milwaukee Metal Fest too, which is
yeah,
they're going to the Czech Republic.
yeah.
They're they're you
Well,
don't know who they are.
that's the good thing about them is what they do, right? Like the stage show, obviously, takes a lot from Guar because they are super active. They get the crowd involved, which everyone wants. They do that awesome fucking merchandising, and then the online presence is a constant for them.
Right.
Like,
People always bitch at me because they're like, "You never post anything on the home page." It's like I have nothing to say. We're in the studio. Like here I am. It's Tuesday. Like I don't get that. And I've had people say stuff to us about it, but it's just I don't know. I guess I'm just too lazy for it. I can't let Nate on there, or and Josh doesn't want to be on there, so it's all up to me. So if our social media is lacking, I'm sorry, I just don't have the fucking time.
well, I think that has to do with like what's the goal for the band, and I think for you guys, the goal with the band is just have a good time and put out good fucking music.
Right, right. Yeah, and it does go back to goals. I mean, you know, we've never been the band that was like, we're going to get signed. We're going to go live in a trailer for, in a van in a trailer for years. Like, no, it's not what we wanted to do. I've got a pretty good job. So does Josh. I mean, Nate would go in a heartbeat. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. I'm pretty sure he told you that too.
Yep.
But other bands that I really like in the city, Redivider, death metal band. So good. Super talented people. Super talented guys. They're really nice. They're really cool. We played a show with them last year at Magbar, all ages show, and it was a great show, man. Um, they're finishing recording their first album right now. They put some stuff on Bandcamp, some recordings of some of the songs that are going to be on the new album a while ago. But yeah, they're really good band too. If you haven't heard them, I highly recommend you checking them out.
So every time I go to see them, something happens. Like they played with Crypta and I had something else going on that night. I was at the Nest show interviewing Nest and doing all that shit. So I missed that show. So we went to Indianapolis to see Death in the Midwest and Redivider was on that. And I was like, fuck yeah, like I'm here. I'm gonna see it. Like I bought a shirt. I'm excited. And someone hit the fucking telephone pole.
Yeah, fucking power went out.
I'm
It's
like,
just like, thanks for coming. Fucking power's out. Show's canceled.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
they were telling me about that. That's really fucking unfortunate.
yeah, I was just like, you fuck. Like, God, this sucks. But whatever.
Yeah. Other really good bands, Blind Scryer. I don't know if you've heard them.
Yep.
Obviously, yeah, they were your last show. We played
Yeah.
with them. They're great dudes. You know, Blair, the vocalist, he's just got hell of a. His vocals are amazing. And I
Killer
hate vocals
voice.
obviously because I'm in an instrumental band, but I love his vocals.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah,
the band
yeah.
works really well together. Um, Super solid. Who else you got?
Let's see. I could talk about Volcandra, man. They just put out that new album. Oh, it's so good, so good.
Yeah.
Um, and they got out of the city and they did their thing, and it's showing. It's paying off. Um,
They're getting ready to go on tour again with Macabre.
yeah, they're gonna be on tour a lot because their
Yeah.
label's gonna be like, get out there, sell some records, go do this.
Yeah. And they've got the booking agent now. The Way of the Ancients is such a solid piece of work. From start to finish. It starts strong, it finishes strong, and it like I feel like that album leaves you wanting more.
Yeah, it really does. It's really well thought out, really well put together album. I still haven't got it yet, so shame on me. But I was trying to wait until I saw them to go get it. Last time I saw them, they didn't have it yet, so I went to the was it Portal show? It was them and Storm Ruler.
Storm Ruler. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, and then they came back into their album release with Storm Ruler, but I was not able to go that night. So, but that's okay. As far as other bands, Prayer Line, fucking love those guys. Anything where you can put horror movies into any kind of music, I am sold. As you can see, my love for horror movies and Evil Dead and anything blood, guts, and gore, I am stoked for. So they do a great job of that. Um, yeah, they put out an album a couple years ago. If you haven't heard it, highly recommend that one too. Another band that I've yet to see, but I've seen them online. I've heard their music. A band called Shitfire.
Oh, dude, I just saw them last week or it was the week before Legalized Lex. They played Static Fest at Portal. I was just like I was bored and was like, "Hey, with Shane Simmons, hey dude, you want to?" He's like, "Let's hang out." Like, all right. So we went to go one place and it didn't work out. So we went to Static Fest, and holy shit, dude! Like
Oh yeah,
Static Fire, Shit Fire
Shitfire.
came on and fucking crushed it. I was just like, holy shit.
I've never got to see them live, but they've made some interesting music videos, and I've seen video of them playing live, and it looks fun. It looks like a fun show.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I really appreciate like when you see people having fun at shows because like you go to some shows and everybody's standing in the back like this,
Yeah.
just arms crossed. We're not gonna move, and like I'm that guy sometimes. I'll admit it, but as long as you see people moving around, you see people having fun. That's what it's all about, right? Nobody
Yeah.
wants to sit there and just stare at somebody. They don't want you staring. They want you moving. They want you doing stuff. And I think that's what you know. A lot of these bands that I've been talking about have in common. Like they all get people into their music.
Well, I think that's the thing with a good band, right? Is it gets
Right.
the crowd really interacting, and you can almost always tell. Um, there were some bands, there have been some bands even over the last year that, I go to the show and they play, and you can tell like they're great players. They're very talented musicians, but they don't have any like soul in the music, and the crowd just kind of stands there as a whole waiting for the song to finish, and everyone's like, "Yay!" You
Yeah.
know,
Well, I mean, I've had that conversation with people. It's like, all right, so you got like when you get into metal, you get like you know people that are like, I love extreme death metal, right? So you like Necrophagist and stuff. So you go see Necrophagist, and everybody's just watching the musician that plays the instrument that they do, and nobody's moving, and everybody's just like, this is great. But then you get like, you know, Obituary, and there's groove there, or like any of the 90s death metal stuff, there's groove there. So people are moving and going crazy. So I think it's more about that. And even we try to incorporate like, you want people to feel the music, right? It's important, especially with us. We don't have a vocalist. There's nothing to sing along to. You're going to either get it. And that's another reason why we like to do the visuals
visuals.
too, because man, I'll tell you what, like Nate used to just make DVDs to play behind us. And like, I just saw the look of terror on people's faces once. And turned around, there's a lady in a nun costume just cutting off her fingers. And I'm like, what is going on right now? So, it could go either way. But yeah. But sometimes people just stare at us, sometimes people get into it. It's cool to see a mosh pit, but sometimes we only hit those really fast parts for like a minute and a half, and then you're back to really slow and really, really mellow. But excuse me. But as far as local bands, like, there's too many to name. I would just advise everybody, whether you're in Louisville or wherever you are, just go out to shows. Just go out to shows. I used to do that, a lot. Before the pandemic, I would go out to shows a lot more. After it turned me into a hermit. I just don't want to leave my house anymore. But, just going to see a random band, because you never know when you can find a band that you like. And that's always a good feeling too. Like, oh man, have you heard this? It's good to share music. I got a buddy that he always sends me just random albums. Like that's our whole conversation. The whole text thread is like, hey, have you heard this? Hey, have you heard this?
Oh, I love
And
that,
that's
dude.
yeah, yeah. We're just sending each other new music all the time. So, and it's mostly him sending me new music. He'll send me something at like 10 o'clock on a Tuesday, and I'll be like, I guess I'll listen to this on my way to work in the morning.
Yeah. I love that. I love waking up and going, "Oh shit, someone sent me a new album. Let me check that out," right? Because it's you don't know, right? And the people you do that with know your taste. So if they're sending you something, there's a there's a high chance you're going to be really fucking into it.
It's going to be a banger, more than likely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good shit. Dave, we're coming up.
Use your words.
Yes, we are coming up on that hour mark.
All right.
So I'm we're gonna roll this to the end. I'm gonna say thanks, dude. I greatly appreciate you taking time out of your night to come hang out with me. I think we've had a fucking fantastic conversation.
It's been a fun conversation. It's been a fun conversation. And I'm going to plug the other thing I do that's not a band, the Gore Club podcast.
Oh yeah,
If you like horror movies, Gore Club podcast. If you like just watching horror movies with other people, you can come out to the Gore Club at Planet of the Tapes
on Sunday
every
night.
time. Yeah, it's a great time. Like I said, anything horror, if it's music related horror or just straight up horror, I'm always about it.
Yeah, thanks. I was gonna ask you like, what else do you do? Because I knew about the Gore Club and I didn't. So thank you for plugging that.
It's okay. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to come on and be on the lookout. Ohlm will have some new stuff this year. Hopefully, the EP's done soon. We'll get those shows uh, announced. But I can tell you, I can absolutely tell you that the 15th anniversary is going to be in a very small, intimate place.
Oh, right on.
I mean, we're talking like 200 people, maybe,
Okay.
like max capacity. We just want to make it as special as possible, and hopefully it sells out. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll just be like 10 guys looking at us, being like, "Why don't you just play a fucking song?" But
I don't think so. I think 200 people, it's gonna sell out.
it could. But those are the shows that I like, man. I love intimate shows. You can play a stadium all day, or a show in a basement, and it's
The b- the
just as fun.
yeah. Yeah. I like the smaller shows myself because like if the band spits, you're probably getting fucking spit on. Like,
Much, yeah, it's much more memorable. Much
yeah,
more memorable.
for sure. All right, dude. Well, go have yourself a great night. All right.
All right. Thanks for having me on, dude.
Thanks.
Take
See
it
ya.
easy.